My name is Ariel Tseitlin. I'm a partner with Scale Venture Partners. We're a mid-stage VC firm that invests in enterprise software. And it's my pleasure today to be interviewing Irene from Dyadic. And she told me before we started that I shouldn't even try to pronounce her last name, so I'm going to respect that. And we'll just go with Irene. We had a chance to chat a little bit as well about what Dyadic does, and a really impressive set of technologies. And we'll spend the next 10 minutes talking about what they are and what stage they're in. So maybe Irene, with that, you can kind of introduce Dyadic to the crowd and tell us what the company does.
Yeah, okay. So I'm head of product for Dyadic. Thanks everyone for being here with us, and thank you, Ariel, for the introduction. And Dyadic was founded in 2014 by 4 founders, and we've got 2 crypto professors, and we've got 2 industry experts. That's our founders. So we are indeed in the field of cryptography and encryption, and we are effectively in the process of becoming the go-to solution for encryption and key protection for the market. We're backed by innovation endeavors. We're backed by NEC, NSC Japan, and we're also backed by the European Union, who've also provided us with a 2 million euros grant as part of the Horizons 2020 program.
That's great. I mean, you were telling me when we first talked about kind of how the technology came to be, that it came out of some research initiatives. Talk a little bit about that, because I think the history is very interesting.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm going to start with a bit more history than I think you intended. Let's go to 1586, England of 1586. And there you had the Catholic Mary, Queen of Scots, and you had the Protestant Elizabeth. And at that point, what happened was that Elizabeth thought that her cousin, Mary, Queen of Scots, was threatening the stability of the region with her Catholicism. And also, she thought that Mary was planning to assassinate her, which, if you've been watching Tudors, Game of Thrones, and so on, was probably true. So at that point, Mary ends up in a prison. And at that point, she indeed starts plotting to assassinate Elizabeth. Now, she's in prison, so she needs somebody on the outside to be able to help her, and she starts exchanging these encrypted messages with somebody on the outside, with a Catholic noble on the outside, basically saying, okay, let's do that. Let's get rid of Elizabeth. And these messages, at some point, they get intercepted, and they get decoded, and the plot comes out. And eventually, Mary, Queen of Scots, gets executed. Now, we are about half a millennium after that, and we're still struggling pretty much with the same thing. How do we get our encryption right so we don't lose our lives or our data or our jobs and so on? And how do we keep the keys to encryption secure? So that's the point where 2 crypto professors come to play. These guys have been researching a field called multi-party computation. Now, what multi-party computation lets you do, it lets you do distributed calculations on data without anyone revealing what they've got. This math is used, for example, in a satellite. So we've got a lot of satellites now orbiting Earth, and what we really don't want is we don't want these satellites colliding in space, right? On the other hand, nobody wants to tell anyone what's their satellite orbit. So that's what secure multi-party computation is used for being able to distribute information and then do calculations on this information without anyone showing their hands. So, as I was saying, we've got these 2 crypto professors, and they're researching their field. Okay, and then they're watching the news, and they keep seeing organizations failing in protecting their data. So organizations are breached, and data is leaked out, and it's either not encrypted at all, or it's poorly encrypted, or it's encrypted, but the key is leaked together with the data. And that's where these guys basically say, okay, we can use our research, our multi-party computation research, to help secure the world. And then they team up with 2 other guys, one from SafeNet, one from Microsoft, and they found Dyadic, saying, okay, we're going to help organizations encrypt their data and protect the encryption keys in a distributed way. So that's a bit of a history lesson and a bit of a history about Dyadic.
Nice. No, that's good. And what, kind of talk through what the process is for implementing your solution. What is, if I'm interested in, protecting my data and I have software that's running, either in the public cloud or in the data center, how complex is it to take a solution like yours and start encrypting all of my data?
Yeah, So I've been in security for a bit over a decade, and what I've learned is if it's complicated, no one's going to do it. That's basically one of the first things that we know as security people. It needs to be as simple as possible. And that's why what we're doing at Dyadic, we're basically plugging into all standard interfaces. So we plug into OpenSSL, we work with PKC11, all crypto standards, basically. And then we say, okay, for the applications who are using it, it's absolutely transparent. The deployment is super simple. You plug into OpenSSL in about, well, actually our own record is 8 minutes per our DevOps, but the bottom line is the deployment is pretty quick and simple. For the applications, it's transparent, and then in the background, we distribute the keys and we do everything to secure them.
So it sounds like maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops.
Well, it's never really 15 minutes, as we know, anywhere in the world, but it's very simple. Yeah, you can get on board in less than a day.
Nice. And what, maybe shifting gears a little bit, kind of talk about what stage of the company's in. When did you start having a product to market? Are you looking for customers today? Are you actively selling it? Or are you still in the R&D phase?
Yeah, so we're a fairly early stage. We were founded in January. However, we already have paying customers. We have quite a few POCs going on. And we're actually at that phase where we are starting to convert POCs into paying customers and really starting to gain traction.
Right. So you're looking for more POCs?
Absolutely. We're looking for more paying customers. We're willing to do a POC along the way if that's needed. And exactly, we're looking for more installations and more places where we can actually help.
Great. So if anybody's interested. So this question was asked in the previous session, and I think it's something that's top of mind to most people when they think about security products, because it is a fairly crowded space. Who do you typically get compared against? Who do you see out there as competition, and kind of what's the competitive landscape for your solution?
So basically, we cover quite a wide variety of use cases. So we have quite a lot of places where we have competitors. Actually, Formetric, which was one of our biggest competitors, was snatched by Thales yesterday for $400 million. So that's Thales now, for example. Yeah, so that's what's happening in our space. So that's Formetric. We get compared with hardware security modules because we do key protection. So that's again Thales, but also SafeNet and so on. And then you have some smaller spot solutions for encryption and protection and so on.
Great. And maybe the last question I'll have before I open it up for questions from the audience is kind of what should we expect in next year? What's Dyadic going to be up to in the next 12, 18 months?
Building an awesome product and selling it to everybody, pretty much.
Nice.
That's the plan. We are starting sales now. We're looking to escalate both the volume and the pace of sales, getting into more large organizations.
Perfect. Any questions out there from the audience?
What platforms your encryption is working on, and do you also provide encryption on the cloud?
Okay, so in terms of platforms, we work with everything standard. We protect the keys to pretty much anything, whether you're looking at TDE, disk encryption, and so on. And we work with Windows and we work with Linux, basically by plugging in, as I said, Microsoft CNG or OpenSSL and so on. In terms of cloud, that's actually a very interesting use case because people are scared of going to the cloud because they don't want to leave their data and their keys in the hands of the cloud provider. With our solution, you can have part of the key in the cloud of your encryption key and part on-prem. That way, the cloud provider can never do anything by themselves. But then again, even if you get breached as an organization, the hackers still cannot get to the data in the cloud. Thank you.
Thanks. Any other questions? No? All right. Well, thank you, and thank you, Irene, and best of luck with Dyadic.
Thank you.